everyone, and a warm welcome to this LifeSpider Quest with Answers. This is the space where no questions are too big or small, the space where we encourage you to embrace your ego, find all of your life purposes, and encourage you to follow your vivid vision so you can live a life in passion, peace, and performance. My name is Frida Cabo. I'm going live from a beautiful autumn in New Zealand and in lockdown, crazy world right now. Oh. Sorry. So, as a LifeSpider coach and possibility explorer, I'm honored and excited to be here and connect your questions with Birgitta's wisdom. We have got some really interesting questions today, so I'm looking forward to ask Birgitta them today. And if you have more questions, just ask them in the comments. And this is the first time we go live through YouTube, so I'm really excited to see how that goes.
Yeah.
And remember that if you ask a question, that will benefit someone else as well. So just ask the questions and we'll talk about them. So with me, I have the one and only Birgitta Granström calling in from California. Lovely to meet you here online on the other side of the world.
Yeah,
so Birgitta is the founder of LifeSpider System and the leader of the International LifeSpider movement. How are you in California today?
I'm absolutely terrific. Even if it's raining, I'm okay. I'm happy for the rain, actually. So it's absolutely fantastic. And it's exciting to be here, too.
Yeah, great. So I've heard that if you have an accent, you should always explain it. So me and Birgitta, we are both from Sweden. And I have a bit of a QwA accent since I'm in New Zealand. And Birgitta has a US accent in California, so that's where they come from. So you don't have to think about that. So Birgitta, I love your text to this live, and would love to hear you talk a bit about the movement towards a new normal.
Oh yes, and right now, I mean, I think people start to realize that everything that's going on, the life will never be quite the same again. And there is another thing that's waiting. I mean, it's there is so much that are changing, and people realize that the life is really fragile, and we have to step up for each other. We have to be more compassionate. Nothing and what we normally felt like it was important, for example, go to the hairdresser every 6th week or whatever, that will be not of that importance anymore. And so there is so much, like actually I can't explain everything just right now, but it just, I would say everyone should accept that we are going towards something completely new. We are moving towards new normal that we don't really know exactly how it looks like. And that's one of the reasons why we are here, because we have the bridge and we can help people to step into the new normal with as less pain as possible. So I would say it's a new normal, and this new normal is welcome, and it comes so much faster than most of us expected. I mean, some of us, at least for me, I've been waiting for this movement my whole life, because people's behavior need to change, and lots of things need to change in the world. We need to be more united, and we have to respect people for people, not for what they own or what they have or what they do. So it's more a united world with respect for the whole mankind, and also how we can work together. I mean, use people's skills and what they have to offer to the world. So I could keep on for a long time, but things are changing, and it's changing for the better.
Yeah, certainly. And one thing that stuck with me in the text was when you wrote, the only thing it takes to succeed is to encourage individuals to take responsibility for the transformation before they try to help others. So how can we encourage people to take responsibility for their transformation?
I would say the first thing is to start to point the finger, you have seen that before, on yourself and really realize for real that you are the most important person in the world. Because if you take care of yourself, so you know who you are, and no one else has to take care of you. And also realize when you start to feel the interest of yourself, start being curious about who are you, what are you capable of doing, and start to work on yourself on all levels, instead of see that you are a good person by helping somebody else far away in the world. So with the individual focus to be as strong as you can be, you have the capacity to help others. And so I think this is a shift in the values and norms we are living in this paradigm right now. And to see if I help others by focusing on myself, and see yourself as the biggest interest you have. And have the ambition to say, okay, I'm prepared and ready to do what it takes to be the best me. Because if I'm the best me, I can be to help for others. So, and you can't do it another way. I mean, it's so much crap that's hidden in every person that makes them to do stupid things. They are not thinking, and they want to be a good person, but it's coming out in the wrong way. So I think everyone who start to focusing on themselves, they should have a gold star, because they are really the ones who really will help this world to come to be a better place.
Yeah. Cool. Great.
Yeah.
And
No, I think there is so much that's
there's
going
so
on.
much more. Yeah.
My hard time, so you have to limit my answer, or I'm trying to. But I think, yeah, what I'm saying is that everyone has to see it's okay to be more egoistic. And in the LifeSpider system, we have one of the most important part in the LifeSpider system is that you have to embrace your ego. You have to acknowledge your ego, you have to embrace it, you have to expand it, you have to make room for your ego, because the ego wants to be a player in the game of the greater good, and people don't know how to do it, because the old the normal we have right now, we have learned that the ego is something bad. You shouldn't, you are a better person if you don't use your ego, and we have to change that behavior. Yeah, for example, I was looking, as they have done in Czechia, is that what I say, with the face masks right now. I mean, just for a few weeks ago, it was absolutely, oh, no, you can't wear a face mask, whatever. And just in a few weeks, they completely have changed their behavior, that instead of looking weird on someone who wear a face mask, now people is looking weird on those who is not wearing the face mask. I mean, that's the movement we have to take. We have to change the value of what's good or what's bad. And if they can do this in Czechia, we can do this in the world, and it doesn't have to take that long, even if we have to work and we need lots of people that understands how it's possible of doing.
Yeah, and that's one thing that is so powerful with the LifeSpider system, with the ego, just to embrace it, because it's still a part of ourselves that we
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
embrace.
And as long as you suppress it, you are acting weird, and that's why you can see people is acting weird in certain position, because the ego is want them to maybe have so power or be a knowledge and things, and they try to step into a certain position because they think, if I'm there, I will get the acknowledgement I'm looking for. But not, they ending up in the wrong place. There is a place for them, but maybe somewhere else. So you have to increase the awareness about everything.
Yeah. Great. Let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious. Yeah.
Is the universe and God the same?
That was a little tiny question.
Yeah.
Yes, and my short answer is yes. I mean, it's like the you give it some this thing out there in the universe that we don't know about. We know it's there, and for in the evolution, you have the God, you have the churches, you have tried to box it in because people right now they are trying to understand everything. They want to put things in a box, and they have put God in a box. But you could also say, okay, this is universe, so just the same name, different names for the same thing. And this is what we are researching. We don't really know what it is. What's the soul? What's the God? Why are we here? How did we get here? What's the purpose of the whole life and the planet and everything? So I would say yes, it's the same. And then everyone can use the word or whatever they think it's comfortable, but it's the same. It's the same. In if you dig deep enough, you will see. And if for every religion, philosophy, and whatever, you will boil it down to exactly the same thing.
Mm.
So yeah, it's the same.
Yes. Good. Next question.
Okay, I'm just getting with more and more and more greedy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. How can I forget myself if I hurt someone?
Uh, that would be pretty easy if you see everything you do, you actually is not hurting anyone. If it's not intentional, you have a decision. Okay, I want to hurt this person with certain things, and but I think this question, my interpretation with this is that your intention is not of hurting anyone. And if it's happened that you think you are hurting someone else, everything you experience from another person or situation or whatever, it's a learning. So everything that hurts, it's moving you forward to the next step. So when you get over it, you will see, and the person who was hurt will actually thank you. And sometimes that's a shortcut to development. It's to reach a feeling that hurts, because then you will realize something's happened. So uh, I mean, it's the only way. And you have to also, let me put it like this, to forgive yourself. I mean, that's the same thing about how when a person is supposed to focus on themselves. I mean, you always have to show yourself compassion, because if you do something that feels bad, because it feels it's hurt yourself by hurting somebody else. So I mean, you in those situations, you also need to show compassion and realize, okay, you did the best you could do. Your intention was not to hurt, and if it was the intention, you will have regrets, and you will see from this regret and the pain you feel from it, you learn and you become a better person. So if everyone could see whatever is happening because we are here to learn and to move forward, and the faster you can do it, instead of keep it around in your mind for, oh, why did I do this, why did I do that, and then you will keep on and you will get frustrated, you will get sad, you will lose the energy, and your behavior will just be worse than it was before. So every situation that you feel, I mean, acknowledge it, look at it and see, okay, what's the learning for me, what will the other person learn from it.
Yeah.
I
Is
don't
it
know
also?
if that was the, yeah,
Yeah,
what you say,
yeah,
Frida?
that was great. Has it also to do with responsibility? Is what's coming up for me. If you take responsibility for the other person's feelings.
Yeah, oh, that's a good comment there, Frida. Because, and that's this back to the first question. I mean, stop take responsibility for other people's feeling, because if you take responsibility for other people's feeling, it's kind of that you don't acknowledge their own power, you weaken them, because every person is capable of taking care of themselves. So that's more a projection. If you take responsibility more for another person, you don't acknowledge yourself enough.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, and that's one of the values we have now, that we are supposed to take responsibility for others instead of be in a partnership. How can we help each other and don't value yourself, and that other people needs you, because then you are taking away the power. I mean, I think it's disrespectful for other people if you take responsibility over them.
Yeah.
Is that an answer?
Yeah. The next, we have a comment. Aya writes,
Mhm.
love it. It have made such a difference in my life to not take responsibilities for others. Freedom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, and I think it's important to see that doesn't mean that you are caring about others, that you want to be there for others, but responsibility is not a strong or a good feeling.
Mm.
It's to see that we are equal, we are coming in with different skills, and we can help each other, but then it's a partnership.
Yeah. And it's so visible when you have kids. If you do everything for them, they won't grow. They won't
Exactly.
step into their own responsibilities. So, yeah.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Next question is also one that hooks into this. So, what is your best tip? How can I meet the feelings in my body when they are most uncomfortable without escaping from them? How can I be able to meet them and truly embrace them? I succeed to get contact sometimes, but sometimes they feel so uncomfortable that I can't stay with them. Sometimes it's hard to accept that I'm feeling it. For example, shame, guilt, angry, sadness, restlessness.
Hmm. I would say the goal is that you are coming to a point that you know that every single uncomfortable feeling is there to help you grow and feeling better when you get out. But at the same time, you should never, I mean, force yourself to feel an uncomfortable feeling when it's too uncomfortable. I mean, it's kind of, you can work one layer at a time. So sometimes I think it's absolutely okay to, I mean, sweep the uncomfortable feeling under the carpet until you are ready to deal with the feeling. And instead, when you have an uncomfortable feeling, and this is more, it's not that you are trying to get rid of it, it's just you put it, archive it in a certain place until you are ready to deal with it. Why? And to prepare you to be ready to deal with those hard feelings is to give yourself support the good feeling. So say, okay, when do I feel good about myself? What's the strength? What's good about me? I mean, do everything that makes you feel good. I mean, talk to people to make you feel strong and whatever, powerful. And then when you have refill yourself with good and strong energy, you can pick up the bad feeling, look at it and say, okay, what layer am I capable of remove right now?
Mm.
So I think, okay, you are supposed to feel the feeling, and if you can go to the bottom of the feeling right away, of course, that's the fast track. But if you want to have a comfortable life and don't dive too deep in a dark hole, it's better to just archive it for a little bit, do something that makes you happy and strong, and then go back. So, and this is a strategy. It's not to deny that the feeling was there, but you can work it from both ways. So I think it's okay, and this is, it's okay to not work with all bad feelings at once.
Mm.
I think that would help lots of people and see, because listen to your body is telling you this is too hard for me to deal with right now. Listen to your body. It's telling you it's too hard. So make it okay for you to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a great question. It's our last question for today. If we don't have any more questions in the comment, so I wanted to just to circle back to that because I think that's something that we hear a lot as well in the development world. That you should go into the feelings. Do you always have to work with the feeling that comes up?
No, I think that's in the personal development area area. It has gone a little bit too far that you have to deal with every single feeling, and we know because there is a shortcut to go past some of the bad feelings so they just dissolve and disappear. And that's what a little was happening in when you do your LifeSpider. I mean, there is a shortcut so you don't have to deal with them. And also you don't have to deal and go back with uh, and understand every single feeling. I mean, it's not necessary. It's more that if you have a focus on the future, where do you want to be? If you focus on that instead and let the bad feelings be, one day you will wake up and say, okay, I remember 2 years ago I had this bad feeling and it's gone. I don't feel any guilt. I don't feel any shame. And this is lots just to connect a little bit to the life spider, this is when you allow your ego to get to the surface and be a part of you instead of suppress it, because the negative feelings is mostly, I would say all the time, is coming from a suppressed ego. You have learned that you are not supposed to feel certain things, and then when you try to act from your ego, those negative feelings like guilt, blame, and yeah, you know, all those, it's coming from a suppressed ego. And if you allow yourself, okay, I want to be famous, I want to be beautiful, or whatever your ego likes to be, if you acknowledge that, there is no reason for you to feel shame or blame or those negative feelings. So I would say no, you don't have to. You don't have to dig in all negative feelings or try to understand them. Then
Mhm.
you can dig. I mean, if you're a person like me, I love to see the reason. Where does it come from? How did it disappear? But then it's more from an analytical point of view, and then it's okay not to get rid of it. Focus on the future, focusing on your strength, and then you will be fine. Most of them. I mean, some feelings are so traumatic and they are so stuck in your body that you need help and you need to deal with them. And absolutely not an ordinary person.
Yeah. So we have a new question coming up from Matte. I think he's
Hmm?
doing Slice Spider with you right now. Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I can't see who it is. I have wrong glasses.
So if it is true that we are growing outside the comfort zone in somewhat resistance, when you have your driving forces in place, will that lead to a life in flow without resistance, and how do that line up?
I would say, yeah, in the end there will be less resistance, and I would say you will always have uh, negative feelings that showing up, more or less. But the thing is that you will recognize them, and they will not drag you down in such a deep dark hole. I mean, you will have negative feelings without pain, because for the most the negative feelings you can see them, okay, it's more like the negative feelings is an information that you are supposed to do something and move forward. And I would say at a point you don't you will get rid of negative feelings, actually. I mean, and especially those in we talk about it, shame, blame, and then after a while you don't understand them, you don't know why do you have to feel that, so it will disappear. Yes, you still will have feelings, but you will treat it like information and it will not hurt. It will be uncomfortable, and when you once learned how you can live a life without negative feelings, and something is happening because there's always new situations you haven't faced before, and when you are unprepared, and then you be hit of an uh, that kind of feelings, but you realize, okay, I don't want to be in that place, and you have the tools. How can I move from that place of pain and look at it in a different way? How can this feeling help me? And you will realize it will always help you to move forward to the next step of yourself, and that will never end,
Mm.
because there is always a next step.
Yeah.
Always.
I remember during the process when we did the spider, uh, falling into a black hole. You
Yeah.
described it as if you used to fall in a black hole, but now you have a trampoline down there. So when when you fall down, you quick up again.
Yeah, because I mean, it's happened some, I mean, circumstances around me, and I hit of something. Oh, this is uncomfortable, and I go down, and then yeah. So I don't know who was saying it's like you have a trampoline down there. Yeah, and I do have a trampoline, and everyone could get this trampoline, and I promise you, it's so much better to have a trampoline and instead of sitting down in the dark hole for a long time. I think
Yeah,
the life is over, because it's real. When you are down in the dark, deep hole, it's real. I mean, that's your reality, and you can't deny it. So, and no one has to be there. So we are, so all trampoline for the people,
yeah.
all people. Yeah.
And I also like what you said about not seeing, like, you don't have any negative feelings anymore. And that's really because the feelings are not labeled as negative. They are just labeled as clues, as you
Yes.
said.
Oh,
So
that's good.
we can
Yes.
like
It's a clue. It's a clue. Yeah.
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 Great. That was all questions for today. Uh,
Oh.
I just wanted to check in on and go back to one thing you said when we started before we started the live stream today about the
Mhm.
autumn. If you wanted to share that insight that you had about that.
Oh, about the different season.
Yeah.
That was me. Oh, yeah, good. You remind me. Yeah, actually, I had a thought. I got a thought yesterday, because now the rattlesnake season is starting here, and I live in the wilderness in Central California. So when it starts to get warm, the rattlesnake is around, and I don't want to experience what I experienced last summer with a rattlesnake in my face when I was picking up food for animals, or feeling something soft under my feet. So now I'm cleaning out the barn to remove all sources of food and hiding places, and I made a bonfire. And then I was thinking first, and it's so obvious now when I'm living in the wilderness, I'm always preparing for a new season. I mean, when it's the summer, I prepare for, okay, we need to prepare for the winter, for the rain, and make everything perfect. And now in the springtime, it's to prepare for the summer and for the hazards. And so I was thinking that's actually how life is working. We are always going through different seasons, and every season has its own pros and cons, and pleasure and pains. And we learn how to deal with it. And we try to do the best. When we know the season is coming, we can prepare ourselves. What's happening now, and that's why I was thinking about this yesterday, is that with this virus out there, we are going into a new season that we haven't experienced yet. I mean, it will be the first season and after Corona life season. So we don't really know exactly how it would look like. And I think my thought came from, I saw something on Facebook. I don't know. It was from a person I don't know, but it was that I want my life back. And my reaction, that was kind of a negative feeling. It was, oh my God, you are living right now. You have your life. And to see when you are sitting here and waiting for the new normal, instead of keep fighting to get the old back. I mean, you can't get, the seasons are coming in a certain order. You can't change. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. So instead of sitting there, oh, I want my life back, what I was thinking was, okay, I want it go back to be as it was before. So instead of that, start to see, okay, so learn more about the new season. So how can I best prepare myself for what's coming? What is the best thing I can do with the time I have right now? So I can minimize the pain in the future. Exactly what I'm doing. How can I minimize the rattlesnake showing up in my face, and how can I protect myself from get bitten from this snake and for my animals? Yeah, I can clean out the barn. I can do the best I can to don't get them so close, but I know they will still be there. I mean, they are around, but I can do the best, and I feel good about myself when I have done it. So I think to see this situation right now, we are going into a new season, and do the best you can to prepare yourself. There is something else that's coming instead of be in a struggle of try to get the old back, because it will not coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's pretty interesting that we're on the different parts of the world. So here we're going into autumn, and
Ah,
you are going into spring. So that's why I said autumn. But also to see that just because one thing preparing in one way is right for you doesn't mean it's right for me. Like
no,
everyone needs to just as you say, look at what is it that I need right now.
that's a really, really good point. It's different seasons and different places, and yeah, so you have to do it and see, looking for your season. Good point, Frida. Good.
Mm.
I like the metaphor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Mm. That's why I wonder you're talking about autumn. Oh,
Yeah. It's autumn here. It's crazy.
oh, sorry.
Great. Thank you very much for today, and thank you for tuning in if you watch the live or the replay. We'd love to hear your questions, and we just write them in the comments, or if you have, you can just follow the link to ask them there as well.
Yes, please,
We'll,
because there is answers that's looking for questions. I promise you.
mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we really enjoy doing this, so we will be back the same time, same channel, same place,
Yeah.
different sides of the world next week.
Yeah. Yeah. See you next Sunday, guys. Yeah.
See you then.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.